everybody, and welcome back to a new episode. This week we have the final part of this FAQ session where the ambassadors are talking about making new friends in a study abroad country and general advice. So stick around and I hope you enjoy. So then how did you make friends while studying abroad?
I think, when you choose to go abroad, you need to be willing to put yourself out there. That's an unspoken rule. That's, you sign that. Because if you don't, you're not going to make the most out of the experience. You're not going to, really, immerse yourself in the culture and the people and learn new things. And I think for me, the first friend I made was my flatmate. And it was because I landed, my food was missing. And I was just confused because I'm like, come on now, what's going on here? And I just went to the kitchen. So the way our suite was, it's a 10-people suite. There is the kitchen at the end, and everyone's suite, even though it's tiny, has its own bathroom. So yeah, that's one thing I learned. The UK's personal space is a must, even though it's tiny. And I had just gone to the kitchen, and then she's there on the phone with her mom, and I'm like, oh, hey, hi, this is me, I lost my food, how are you doing? Being upright and just oh, hey, this is how it's going. And then she was, willing to, help walk with me to go get food, 5 minutes away, because I couldn't go on my own since I had no internet connection. And later that week, so there's this thing called Freshers Week, so it's just for, first years and also, transfers or whatever. It's just, a series of events. So we went to that. We'll just go, me and her, and then we're just going to just talk to people, because she was a first year. So she was, trying to know people, and then I'm also trying to, know people. And even just in class, if, I didn't understand something, someone sitting beside me, I just talked to them, oh, hey, did you get that? Because, because what's going to happen? 3 months, you're never going to see my face again. So if I embarrass myself, it makes no difference. Just, things like that. And that's really how I made the most friends. And people that I could just speak to outside of the classroom, people that we could hang out together, tell me a lot about Bristol. And I think one thing to mention is for my classes, there were some first year classes, second year and third year classes I took. So I got to interact with so many different people that had been in Bristol for 3 years and could tell me the right places to go and how to, and we could, spend time together. And even when I went abroad, just speaking to anyone that I saw. You're told not to speak to strangers. When you go abroad, you gotta speak to strangers. So yeah.
When I got there, they had sort of an orientation, similar thing, but the day before, that was a full week, but the Friday before that, which was the day after I arrived, they did a Just Exchange Student Day. And I think this might have been because the university I was at had a massive exchange program. So they were taking in over 600 exchange students, which of course is a fantastic environment for me as an exchange student. There's 600 other people in the same situation. So that's really where I met a bunch of the people I ended up being friends with throughout the semester. They had sort of an introduction, presentation, that sort of thing. And some activities related to, where is everyone from, and putting us all on a map and that sort of thing, which was really cool to see, just kind of how many people were coming from every country. After all that, the rest of the day was just kind of tours and socialization and things like that, which is where I think I just tried to introduce myself to as many people as I could. It ended up working out really well. I also got COVID after the first week, which I'm not saying this to scare you, but I'm saying this because I was super stressed because I was quarantined entire first week of classes, locked in my room, and I was like, oh my god, everybody's making friends, I'm not going to make any friends. And it ended up being fine, so don't worry about it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I think for me, we had a very similar situation where we had an orientation week, or a half week, if you will, because we arrived on Wednesday, I believe, and then classes started the following week. So it was nice because everything was mandatory for us being immersion students, so they had to really get us up to speed. They took us to get our SIM cards, which was great. And what was nice is because it was a third-party provider program, they kind of consider you your own class. So we were the class of spring of 2023, and so there were about 75 of us. So even though you're not friends with everyone per se, you do get to meet everyone during orientation, at least with IS Abroad. Additionally, with IS Abroad, we had 2 mandatory weekend trips with the faculty, and so that was a really great way to also get to meet people, just because you were spending not only your orientation week with them, and then you were basically thrown right into this excursion, but then the following week after your first week of classes, we also had an excursion. So you really They really had a lot of opportunities to meet new people. Additionally, I was also living in an apartment, so I just met my 5 flatmates, suitemates, whatever you want to call it.
I was actually dorming with someone. So we had half the class live in the nunnery, and half the class live in this really cute, adorable small hotel. So I got thrown in the hotel, and the person who I roomed with, she is one of my closest friends now. She stayed at my house 3 times. So you meet really good people abroad. But for my program, it was U of R students who were there. I obviously just didn't know them. So it was a little bit easier, but I will say when you go abroad, people are looking for someone to go away on the weekend or on breaks with, and that's a really good time to just, form a group or just go with anyone. You can find out if you like traveling with people. I know some people just solo traveled, which is great. I ended up going to a couple different places with the same group of people. So people are looking to make friends when they go abroad. Everyone's in the same boat. So it's much easier than I think people, assume. What's some advice you'd give to yourself before you studied abroad so you can go back in time and be listen to me, here's one piece of advice? What would you guys say?
So I think, and this is advice that I got from IES that I think is really important. Wherever you're traveling to, even if you're not a big cash person, take about $100 to $150 of that currency with you. And I say that because similar to Tuchuku, when I arrived, I had to take a taxi, and the taxis in Madrid only take euros at the airport because they don't necessarily know or really care if you're an international or domestic person, right? They just want cash. And I also think, right, if you're hungry, right, in the airport, your credit card or your debit card could get declined if you had forgotten to call your bank ahead of time. Mm-hmm. So even though you're going to get an exchange rate at your bank, it is exceptionally important that you go to a bank in the States before you leave and take some cash with you. Because even if you don't use it, that's fine. You can just transfer it back to, American currency. So that's my biggest tip, is travel with some cash. You can hide it if you're scared of losing it or anything like that, but please travel with cash. It's really, really important.
Do not put cash in your checked baggage. Put it in your carry-on.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Additionally, I think if you're prone to losing things, buy some AirTags or some other losing, I think my roommate uses Tile. Those are really important because if you lose your passport, you are stuck. Mm-hmm. There was one girl in my program who was using her passport to get in and out of clubs and things like that because Madrid has really good nightlife, and she lost it. And she had to go to the embassy and get a whole new passport basically given to her under emergency status, which really isn't great, especially coming back to the US. They're just like, oh, well, what happened? Because it's a different color and it has very few pages. Additionally, if you have a visa, right, you're not studying abroad in a country where you have citizenship, re-getting a visa, depending on where you are, can be very difficult. Luckily, Spain is pretty good with giving out visas if you lose them, but that's also something to consider if you're in a country where getting a visa is difficult. So that being said, right, put something in your passport or put your passport in a place where you know you're not going to lose it, and keep all of your other documents safe. And then last is, it sounds really silly, but keep your valuables in your front pockets. Studying abroad in Madrid taught me that pickpockets are everywhere, no matter where you are. And again, pickpockets specifically target foreigners because you don't speak the language, and they can really easily confuse you trying to sell something or just acting confused. So making sure that your valuables or things that you hold dear are within reach and not somewhere that they can easily just be taken is definitely something important, because a lot of people in my program were pickpocketed. Not me, because I'm a little paranoid with that kind of stuff, but it's just something to consider if you are going to a major city.
I just wanted to add a few things to what you said. About the bank, yes, please. So for me, I had to figure out, because my mom was figuring out, I'm like, okay, Mom. And, I called the bank a few times, they weren't clear about it, but, I kept calling to be like, oh, hey, this is happening, can you tell me what to do? I'm going abroad, what should I do about it, in terms of, I don't want my card being declined, because I've seen that happen to my mom. A Nigerian card was declined at some point in Walmart, and we're like, It's 10 p.m. They're asleep. What are we gonna do? You know, just that kind of thing, that kind of situation. So what I had to do was I had to change my notifications, or rather my authorization, from messages to email, so that I would receive an email and then I'd say, yes, this is me. Because with a message, since I'm using a different phone number, I won't receive the message because, you know, my T-Mobile plan is on hold. I can't access it while I'm abroad. Yeah, I think that's something I just wanted to mention. In terms of advice, I think for myself, I would have told myself to slow down and take it all in. I think coming in, I was like, oh, I want to do this. And similar to Riley, a weekend I got sick. But it wasn't COVID. It was just more, they call it a freshers flu. Mm-hmm. So it was really bad. I was just tired. I got really cold. Like, it was 15 degrees Celsius, and I was wearing a winter jacket. And also, like, I just wasn't feeling well. And I was so annoyed about that because I was like, I'm supposed to be traveling next weekend. You know, I'm supposed, like, why am I not doing anything? But I also, you know, had to teach myself that, you know, I'm also in a new place. So instead of trying to go to different places, I should relax and take that, you know, new location in as well. Like, it's as important as, you know, Madrid or Italy and all these other places I wanted to go to. And one more thing is, as cheap as the flights are, you need to take small luggage. I think, like, going to, like, the UK and traveling a lot to Europe and all that with EasyJet, Ryanair and all that, that taught me how to pack light. I don't know how I did, but with my school backpack, I, you know, packed a 4-day trip to Italy in that bag. With time, a friend told me about how I could get, like, a bag with a shoe compartment underneath, so I could take, you know, more shoes and still pack everything in. So I would say definitely learn how to pack light. You can start practicing that if you want, or get like a bag with a shoe compartment so you can put more things in, because you don't want to pay the same price of the flight ticket for luggage.
Mm-hmm. I would say don't, like, hesitate before saying no to things. So if I had, like, a lot of people be like, oh, do you want to go, like, here this weekend or here this weekend? And I feel like I thought about it too much. Sometimes I was like, oh, but I have, like, this schoolwork to do, or like, oh, I really wanted to go to, like, this place instead. Just, like, say yes, because if you, like, you never know what's going to happen, especially if, like, you've known these people for 1-2 weeks already. I like to say it's all for the plot. So, you know, whatever happens is going to happen. It's going to be fun. You're going to, like, make memories, and I think that's all, like, studying abroad is about. Also, I would say I really wanted to go to Tasmania before I left. So if there's somewhere you want to go and nobody, like, schedules don't align, or, like, somebody's already been so they don't want to go with you, just go on your own. Like, that was kind of my first solo trip, and I realized how much I really enjoy kind of traveling on my own. You can do kind of whatever you want, and it's a great opportunity to meet other people. So definitely don't, like, pass up a chance just because you have to go alone. Like, just go alone and kind of embrace it.
I'm going to copy Riley because mine was kind of the same. I absolutely loved traveling with my friends on the weekends, went to, like, Florence and Siena, and I wouldn't give up anything for that because it was so fun. I would say take time to take at least one solo trip. It doesn't have to be, you know, international. You don't have to go to another country. It could just be for the day you go to, like, different coffee shops or something, but do something alone. It just helps build character. You're just going to find out what you like, because when you travel in a group, it really is like, okay, what does everyone want to do, and stuff like that. I think that is all the time we have. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to do this.
Thank you for having us.
Say goodbye.
Bye.
Farewell.
Thank you.
Good luck on your travels.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, come to the office.
Come to the office.